You got a timestamp on that, I'm sure.
I just hit record, so we're open.
Okay. So the regular business discussion of the search process for city administrator position. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
So my personal thoughts would be that my replacement, I'd recommend we look for a search firm. There are national search firms that executive search firms that do this work. It's not cheap, but I think it is worth it to make sure that a good proposal package is put together. There are numerous firms out there that do this type of work. The one that the city hired when they found me was called Strategic Government Resources, SGR. They do good work. They do a lot of work in this area in the Midwest. I would definitely recommend them as one to reach out to and solicit their response to an RFQ, a request for qualifications. I would say that we probably reach out to 3 firms and say, hey, we would like to get your proposal, your submittal on this RFQ, but we go ahead and put the RFQ out there as well, so that way anybody else that we may not have solicited may go ahead and see it and put in for it as well. But the 3 firms that I would recommend that we reach out to would be SGR, GovHR was another good one, and Raftelis, Rafetils. They are all good executive search firms that work with cities, municipalities to find people for high-level roles. They could also do, department head level positions, etc. But they do a lot of these types of roles for city administrators and city managers. So that would really be where I would start, would be putting out an RFQ. I have here the.
Well, this an RFQ didn't cost us anything, does it?
The RFQ does not. When you actually engage in contract with one of these firms, if you decide to, that'll be when some money comes into play, because then you'll negotiate price and whatnot. So this is the documentation that the city had when they came up with my position, and so I think this is folder that was given to our HR director.
Right. So that's the packet that I was telling you about that former Mayor Brownsburger spoke to. So I thought he said it was an accordion file.
Right. So
it was pretty voluminous in information.
Yeah, I did just grab this right before the meeting from the HR director.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
you're looking for contains what?
Well, this is just the resumes essentially from the finalist candidates. So I don't know if that's going to be what we're looking for.
No.
But I do know that I have on file as well the RFQ that the city put out when they did the search for me. So I can find that, send it out to the 3 of you, have you look at that, review that. My suggestion would be that you essentially approve that document at the next work session on the 25th. So that way, okay, we go ahead and approve that. We reach out to those 3 firms. They or any others that you recommend if you do your own research and say, hey, I think these people would be good. An avenue that you could look at to see who does this type of work, who does these types of jobs, would be ICMA, the International City Management Association. You could go to icma.org and go to careers, job postings, and you'll see on there job postings. You can filter to search for just city administrators, city managers, executives, etc. I'd recommend doing that. And then you can go through and you'll see town managers, village managers, city administrators, etc. across the nation. You can look at a variety of advertisements, brochures, etc. that various cities have and various companies that put these together for cities. So you can observe, hey, who does this type of work elsewhere? Whose work do I like? Whose brochure looks good, etc. See who put that brochure together, and then maybe say, I'd like to solicit that company as well, so that we could get them to try and put in a proposal for us. There are a lot of these companies that specialize in certain geographic regions because maybe like the Northeast or the Southeast, etc. They don't want to travel necessarily to the Midwest. But then there are other companies that are nationwide and do this type of work nationwide as well. So I believe these three companies are more nationwide companies, but I know SGR does have an extremely strong presence in the Midwest as well. So that would
In that document, or in that RFQ, I think it needs to be stated that we are also interested in an interim search
yes,
or
absolutely.
interim placement,
Which-
I should say.
That will be different than the previous engagement RFQ that was put out previously.
Correct.
My recommendation as well would be for you to come prepared to discuss, because I can prepare basically everything else, and you can give me some feedback on the language or whatnot that you'd like to tweak. But you'll want to try and come up with price tag, what salary range you guys want to try and look at. That's
Yeah.
going to be incredibly important. Frankly, my recommendation would be that you're probably going to need to seriously consider paying more than you're paying me. The job market is such that you're going to need to pay a decent amount for this role. So I just want you to be prepared for that. Um, the city can handle it. Our financials are in a good place. We've got good cash flow. As you know, budgetarily, we are in a little bit of a cyclical year where we're going to have a lot of things hit all at once, but it is something that I'd recommend you seriously put some thought into what you're willing to pay for this position. And they will give you as well some feedback on that. That hey, look, this is whoever you end up hiring can help kind of craft the job advertisement itself, but certainly as well as the what salary range you can be looking at. But be something for you guys to be mindful of and thinking about moving forward is that you're going to have to the biggest decision in front of you is likely to be that.
Can I ask that we include Aaron in this process as our HR director?
Absolutely. That would be something in my mind that would be up to the governing body as a whole. That hey, because the three of you certainly are guaranteed a seat at that table to have this conversation.
Good.
Anybody that you want to include in that conversation, you're welcome to. I'd be happy to participate in any way that you would like me to. But if you don't want me involved, I totally understand and respect that. Anybody else as well, whether it's Ms. Graham or if it's Mrs. Irwin or anybody else, you just need to make sure that they are invited and included in those conversations as you desire.
I certainly want those individuals you named in the interview process because I think it's very important for not only them, but maybe some other department heads. I think we did that when we were interviewing you. I know we had some members of the community take you around.
So I will tell you my interview process, and these firms will give recommendations, but largely the decision on how you want to handle the interview process will be up to you as the governing body. I would recommend that you do a little bit more in-depth interview process than what the last council did when they found me. I've been through some good interview processes, and this one I felt like I didn't meet any department heads. I think that would be good for you to get their feedback
I do as
on
well.
whoever your next selection is going to be. So I would welcome or encourage you to have an hour-long sit-down with department heads, or that they have lunch with department heads, or
Right.
something along those lines. And the firm that you hire will help you kind of navigate through best practices on that. As well, a lot of communities will go through a kind of community meet and greet, where they invite the administrator or the manager candidates in, your finalists that you've selected, and that way they can give you feedback as the governing body on their perception of your finalists. That would be something as well that you may want to consider. Obviously, it's your decision at the end of the day, but to help you make that decision, you can obtain input from staff, from the community, etc. I do think that the tour of the community, I was afforded that. Mr. Garrett gave me the tour of the community, and that was great. I really enjoyed my time with Mike. I would encourage you to do that again. If Mike's interested in doing that again, I think that would be great. He certainly is a great ambassador for the community, but that is something that I find valuable. And I think most administrators and managers would find valuable. So I would encourage that. Um, the but I would probably go a little bit more than what we did for my personal interview process, which I don't know if that impacts the cost of what the services are provided, but I think there's value in that in those components if you decide to go that direction. But certainly that'll be conversations that you'll have with whoever you choose to do the process. Um, yeah, I'm looking up the search documents here so I can try and go ahead and send that out to you guys. But certainly, whatever whatever you would like to do, I'm willing to do. But that would just be my recommendation that we approve an RFQ at the next meeting to try and move forward with finding a firm. So your thoughts on that? If you have an alternative approach you'd like to take, it certainly does not preclude you from doing anything else in the interim if you decide to do something else. But I think it gives you options and it moves things forward to try and get the process started.
Is there any value to reaching out to some of those firms with just the basic question about their assistance with placing an interim? Meaning, any value in us asking them how long that they might anticipate that placement taking? Would they answer that? I guess my question is, would they answer that prior to us engaging with them?
I think they could probably give you a ballpark.
Okay.
Said that might be a 2-month process or what.
Right. Okay.
So you're talking about just an interim?
Correct.
Okay.
And so you do that, and there's obviously you pay an extra fee for that. That's not just included in the base cost of, hey, you hired us to do your search, so we'll provide you with an interim. But that does give you the ability to hire an experienced professional, a lot of the times retired, that will come in and help you run the city for 4 to 6 months, however long you need, while you're completing the search process. Any thoughts on alternative process or things that you'd like to see? I'll reach out and see, on what they think a time frame on getting an interim here would be.
Okay. Considering the time is of the essence for us, is there any merit to us maybe approving the document, the RFQ document, electronically within a week, right, in less than a week's time? Yeah, I've seen many RFQs outside of. I did not see the one that the city used the last time, and I joined the council. Candidates had been narrowed down to a smaller number, not the final number, but I'd like to know if maybe we can just get that RFQ reviewed and approved maybe within the next 2 or 3 days so that we can just get moving.
I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, I've not seen the documents, so I don't know if that's a tall task. So.
Okay. I will try and put something together as soon as I can and get it out to you guys, and then get me back any recommended changes you have, if you would. If you would please just send it to me, and I
Yes.
will then send it out to all the rest of you. But please track changes. I don't know if you know how to do track changes on Microsoft Word.
When you send it, before you send it, hit track changes, save it as such, and then it'll be on.
That's fair.
So just don't turn it off.
Yeah, I made a little education on that.
Well, if you don't know how, then you'll be good. If you don't know how to turn it off,
As long as I turn it on.
yes,
before
if
I
you
send
turn it
out.
on, we'll all be good. Right.
That's fair. I can do that. That's good.
That would be the recommendation. Yes.
Thanks.
Would you be reviewing it also and submitting any of your recommendations on this document, or will you just take what was already out there?
Yeah, so because I'll definitely make some changes because I know you want the desire would be to hire or to get a proposal to also have an interim, and so I'll have to add that language to the proposal. The Yeah, so I will do that, and what I'll do is I've got. Would anybody like to see the proposals submitted in the past? Like I've got the proposal that SGR made that the city then accepted, and I've got the proposal that other firms made that the
Please.
city did
Yeah.
not accept.
I would-
provide that.
Sure.
So that way you guys
More information is better for me.
have an idea to kind of see what these typically are going to look like. So I'll send those out, and then as well, I'll send out what when I find it, I will send out the RFQ that we sent out last time, and then I will make up a new one. I'll use that as a template to make up a new one to then be able to modify and send out to you for your feedback and modifications, and then we can get that approved and go ahead and issue.
And I'll offer that if you need any assistance with formatting of it, let me know. I don't sleep much.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate that.
And I'll check your punctuations and spelling.
Well, thank you. Ken's always good at that as well. Normally, I will. I know you are too, Darren. But I tell you, Ken, I'll send him something and he'll find things that I'm like,
Good. Go again.
I didn't. That's not a big deal to me, but okay. And people get frustrated with me because I like things. I like in a Word document or something. I like it justified, and so I'll have. Really? Okay. I'll make that change. But
And the Oxford comma, of course.
the Oxford comma.
Oxford
I
comma.
have to have the Oxford
Right?
comma. Mike does. I know struggles with the Oxford comma because he wrote AP for so long. That's a struggle in transition. But
There's hope.
Old habits.
okay. Well, I will get that out to you as soon as I can. I know it's got to be. I haven't seen it, so I will find that here. It's in Dennis's old files, so try to find that. But I will get that out to you.
Now, you both have been migrated over to the new Office 365 environment, right?
yes.
Are you familiar with Microsoft Teams yet?
I haven't used it, no.
Okay.
I've used it sparingly, but yes.
Because that would be a really good use.
It's
Wait,
on my.
let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, we
Not
still
Maybe not.
Not for the three.
No, maybe not. Yeah. Never mind.
Communications with staff. I mean,
Scratch that.
easy way to reach out.
Well, I meant collaborating on the document. Scratch that.
No, that filters to Chris.
Yeah, we could do a Google Doc or something like that. You don't like the Google Doc idea?
I don't know why. I just,
Because you don't want Google.
He
maybe.
doesn't like anything that's not Apple.
Maybe.
That's my point.
Apple's.
Like you.
I don't like it when companies intentionally.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Anything else on the search front that you'd like me to
No, I like-
do or put together?
I like that approach. I liked SGR. I had limited contact with them. As I mentioned, it was late in the process, but my interactions with them were good. So that approach is very welcomed by me. I think that will do well.
So we do the RFQ electronically now within the next few days based on what Chris gives us.
Right.
Okay. So Chris got a little bit of homework there. And then what do we need to approve on the 25th?
The document itself, but I'm looking to see if we could potentially approve it electronically prior to the 25th, so that we can
I don't
just
see an issue with
expedite
that.
it.
But what would we need to vote on?
The contents of the RFQ document itself, that we're asking
Well, I
questions
got
that we
that.
want to know the answer.
Beyond the RFQ, is there anything we're going to need to do on the next?
On the work session.
Yeah.
Only thing that I have really at this point.
I'm talking with regards to this
Right.
process.
Yeah, you're talking about this. So yes, we're going
Oh,
to
okay, sorry.
approve whatever company we want to
So we
utilize.
we're going to approve the company. Okay, I got you.
So we're going to approve the document we're going to send to them, and then we'll approve from the responses. We'll approve
Okay.
one from that.
I doubt you'll have.
Do we need to know what salary range we have in mind? Do we need?
I don't think you'll need that quite yet. So I just want you to be thinking about that.
Okay.
But they'll work through that process with you, and they should be able to give you some type of baseline that hey, you guys really need to be, somewhere around here, and give you some guidance on where you really should be. So, I guess you probably need to make a decision within the next month and a half at the most. It'll probably be, you're gonna. I don't think you'll have responses back and be able to make a decision by next week. You probably can by August 8th. You probably have
Okay.
responses and be able to make a decision at that point, depending upon how in depth you want to go. If you want to have them come and give you in-person presentations for their proposals and whatnot, that may take a little bit more time. You may need to have a special work session to meet these people and have them give their proposal to you in person, etc. But you might be able to pull it off for August 8th, at which point you're probably looking at it probably takes them 2 weeks to get a brochure, advertisement package, everything all put together, settle on salary range with you guys, all of that, and get that posted.
So we just did it for Twitty's job, and that guy, the company we're using, had it turned around really quick.
So I would say the middle of August, you should be able to have something out there. If maybe even a little bit sooner than that, but I would recommend you probably look at a minimum 30-day advertising period for that, and then move forward with your interview process.
So the process, whether for a full-time or a part-time, is the same and at the same timeline? Is there any acceleration of the timeline?
Yes. So the interim, they can probably, I would say, I don't know. That'll be a question I ask. I'm going to reach out, but my guess would be you could probably have an interim here, probably by the end of August, beginning of September. Whereas you're probably not going to have a full-time replacement for me. My guess would be at the best, you're probably looking at least if you get somebody with some experience, because they're going to have to give notice, somewhere else, etc. You're probably looking at November-ish time frame would be my thought process.
Yeah.
So and it could be a little bit later than that, just depending upon how quickly you're able to get things moving. So.
When the last time it was around 25,000 what they charged to do it?
Yes.
I came in.
Oh,
The
okay.
end of
I
that
was
process.
thinking that's the number anyway.
Yes, I have the contract right here. Is 20, just under 25.
I mean, it's something, but it's not terrible.
No, I think the one we're doing for the search for NQA is closer to like 90 or 100. Yeah.
And so, what would your recommendation be as far as a point person in all of this post September 3rd? Good question. So would that be Aaron, Angie?
I would probably say Aaron, but copy Angie on all those, so that way they're both in the loop.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we going to post it locally so local people can apply also?
I wouldn't probably post it in the Lawrence County Record, but
The city's website?
Yeah, absolutely. Post it on our
That's what I'm
website. I would, post it. You want to hit ICMA, you're gonna spend some money, to put it on ICMA's website. You're gonna put it on MML's website, but that'll be something you go over with, whatever search firm that you talk with. Is they're gonna have recommendations on this is where we recommend you post the job at, but every publication you choose is going to cost a little bit of extra money, and so. But my thought would be that ICMA and MML are probably the big ones that you want to make sure you hit.
Okay.
I'd probably also do the Kansas League of Municipalities. You may even also look at some of the other state municipal leagues around us, Arkansas, Oklahoma.
Every state has one, right?
Most
Well,
states
you know.
have their own, yes. But the ICMA is kind of the national organization.
I
So.
understand.
Maybe a silly question, hopefully not. But is a LinkedIn, Monster, those things, should we avoid those outlets?
I don't know necessarily that you need to avoid them. I doubt that you get many of your
Yeah.
finalists from at least Monster. You could from LinkedIn. LinkedIn has some legitimate professionals that will see it there and hear about it and apply from that. But so LinkedIn would be a good one to try and
Consider,
utilize.
yeah, not advocating for it either way, but I just didn't know if we should avoid those platforms or not.
No, I don't think there's any.
And I'm assuming the firm would handle the posting.
Right.
So,
Yeah, there should be a legitimate brochure that they put together, a 3 to 4 page document that sells the Monett community to prospective candidates.
Good thing we have a new logo.
I
Sorry.
think that there's, as we've discussed in the past, there's a lot of positive potential and momentum to sell here, and it's a very attractive community for somebody that would want this job. So.
But there's a lot of requirements, right? We have our own utility, we have an airport, we have 2 major construction projects, hopefully 2 major construction projects coming up, hopefully 2. And so much more, right? Police, fire, just
Absolutely.
unique.
Very true. Own fiber utility.
Fiber utility, yeah. Okay. That's all I had.
You got anything?
Okay. Well, I will get you out the RFQ, and we will go from there. I'll try and have that to you by the end of the day tomorrow, so that hopefully we can get that posted on Friday. If you guys can give me some feedback, hopefully not a whole lot of changes, and we can move forward on Friday. So.
Real quick, is it typically a shorter document? Is it longer? I've not seen ours.
Typically,
I've seen some that monster sized.
I'd plan for probably a 2 to 3 page document would be my
Yeah.
expectation.
Yeah, I've
So,
seen excess of 20.
we could do that,
No.
but
Let's not.
I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, very good.
okay.
I kind of hope this time when you guys get down to the final stretch and you're coming down to the final candidates, I mean, when they did it last time, it was pretty super secret. I would encourage that at least have some meet with staff or meet with people
Yes.
there on some of them. I think that was,
Yes.
no offense, Chris, but it was kind of it was a mistake, I think, last time. I think
You're correct. We
in the end, it's your decision, but
we
I think
discussed
you need all
it
the
and-
input you guys can get.
Yeah, we discussed it and we agreed. Yeah,
Okay.
that's certainly something we want to do. And Chris had some other recommendations that will.
Okay. Sorry, I was running a little late today.
It's okay.
I apologize.
No problem.
Any other discussion?
on a discussion of the city administrator or anything else?
City administrator, that's what we're running right now.
Okay. And is there something else you're wanting to bring up?
No. I'm playing, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you-
No, I'm good.
You're welcome to.
Any other business?
You have anything else?
I don't.
No?
I do not. I can. Oh, you have something else? Sorry. Just real quick, we'll mention the planned items for next work session's agenda real quick, which will be a week from tomorrow.
25th, right?
Yes, the 25th. So, Mr. Mayor, if you have feedback on anything you don't want me to have, we can go over that. But the first reading of ordinance, I know I'd like to get second reading on our August meeting, so that's why I was going to plan to do first reading here for the election for the consideration of the roundabout prohibition petition ordinance. So that way we go ahead and do first reading at this work session, and we'll do second reading to actually get that placed on the ballot.
What's this ordinance that we're?
To establish the put on the ballot, the roundabout petition.
Oh, so it's,
ordinance.
okay, so it's, has to do with taking the petition and putting it on the ballot, is that what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sure.
this, it's an ordinance, the county clerks need the official ordinance to be able to put it on the ballot, and so we need to pass the ordinance, therefore, this will just be first reading, and we'll do second, in
So we're
August.
not, we've already voted on a petition, this is voting to put it on the ballot, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
County needs proof.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the donation or the how we want to handle the transfer from of the Broadway parking lot to Monett Main Street, the development of the downtown dock park. My game plan there is to have a basically a deed restriction on it that says, hey, you have 2 years or whatever time frame the city council would like to set in order to build said development, said dog park. Otherwise, it reverts back to the city's property.
Agreed.
So I think that especially if we're going to donate the property, that would be a good restriction to place on it. But
Do we vote? Do we discuss the donation?
Was it to donate or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, because nothing has been decided in the past.
Right, it's the first
It was just
for
a verbal-
donation. That's
right,
what
it was a
Yeah,
verbal
it's-
agreement.
I think it's gonna be transferal of deed of that parking lot to
So this
Main
is the first
Street.
reading or a discussion?
So it can be either. I mean, my thought would be that we can go ahead and move the process along and make the transfer happen. Or if you want to have further discussion, we can do that. You know, whatever approach you want to take. My intent was to go ahead and have the documents, everything all prepared from Randall's office, Randall's law office, to be able to make the transition occur. But the council has to be
We have to vote on it.
the authority to actually accept or sell or give away land. And so you guys will need to decide on that, and whatever approach you want to take is fine. I'll just need to have
Yeah,
a decision one way or the
To-
other.
to extend that a little bit is that we would have an agenda item
Right.
on the meeting about this transfer of deed, and then we would discuss it at that time. So,
Okay.
then we would move to vote.
Right.
And
Okay.
you vote the way your conscience tells you. But yeah, because nothing had been voted on by the prior council. It was always just a verbal commitment or verbal approval of allowing it to happen.
Is there any, and you guys may have discussed it, what happens with Mr. Gilroy's memorial down there on the?
That's gonna be part of they may move it, but it's gonna be part of whatever phases.
It was going to be
So
incorporated.
Part of the agreement is it cannot be removed or cannot be, it's got to be displayed somewhere.
Yeah, the
Oh, that's a good
organization had, I'll just say verbally promised that it would be incorporated in the park itself.
Yeah, you wanna put that as part of the
Stipulation.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the air's thinking of, so let's just go ahead and put that in there as well.
Seems a bit of a shame, that's the only thing we have for Mr. Gilroy's involvement on that.
I know.
That's left, yeah. But I do agree with that other stipulation that gives them the restriction and the expectation to have it completed within a certain time frame. And failure to do that would revert ownership back.
So on that note, is 2 years a reasonable amount of time? Do we want to extend that to 3? Do we want to say what do we want to do there? Because that'll be something that the Randall's office will need to know ahead of time so that they can have that prepared.
We're just talking parking lot.
Correct.
We're not talking the adjoining on the right.
That's correct.
Okay. Just parking.
Just the parking lot.
The transfer
Just
of
want to make sure.
ownership, yeah. Have they given you any indication of how long they think they would need to construct?
I don't know that, but I think 2 years is adequate. If we don't get it in 2 years, then yeah, well,
Sounds fair to me.
And you obviously as the council will always have the ability to say, okay, if they're not there in 2 years, but that you can tell it's moving. That,
oh, you see, so the 2 year stipulation, when we say if they don't do anything with it, what if it's in construction in 2 years? If we see something
Right.
going on, I mean,
The time frame should go into an architect design or Kevin's design is up and down, because I mean, it's hollow underneath parts of it, so they're gonna have to have an
well,
architect do
so
it.
my point is that if it's the 2 years, they have to at least start doing something with it. Is that what,
I would prefer completion within 2 years.
that may be a little.
so I think you could say then 3 years, or you could, if you want to go completion, or you could say 2 years. And the council would always have the ability to say, hey, you guys are working on this in good faith. We can tell you are 80% done with this project.
Mhm.
There's still a little bit left you have to do, but you're not complete within 2 years. But we're not going to pull the rug out from underneath you at this point. So we're going to let you go ahead and proceed. Even though we could take the property back, we're not going to do that. You would have that option if you decided to,
Right.
to not execute the clawback provision to give you the property back. But it gives you that ability if you're not seeing any movement, or if it's something to where, hey, on the 2 year mark is coming up and nothing's been done, and so the last month, month 23, they go in and they collapse the parking lot into the hollow areas and say, we're working on it now. So don't take it from us because we're working on it.
You see, that's the point in developing the idea as to what's it gonna take to complete, and the expenses that they're gonna have to incur by recreating this space underneath the ground and up, because it's not gonna be concrete when it's done, I'm sure, right?
That'll be grass. I mean,
It'll
there'll
be
probably
grass,
be
right?
some area that may be, sidewalks or grass.
Should
or
we
whatever.
see a construction plan, an idea, an architect's rendering, anything?
For what? Before you donate the land?
Yeah, I mean, before we concur on how many years it's gonna take to do it. Because,
I guess that's your guys' call.
what is the entire process to,
On the flip side, if you keep it, I mean, we got a lot of money the city's gonna have to spend on that piece of property as well to do it.
and then what if they didn't, well, nonetheless, okay. I just wanna see I just need a little bit more clarification. That's before we can determine 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, or whatever.
So you would like to see, for lack of a better term, a business plan from them to say, here's the design, here's what we perceive the timeline to be, and then we would then determine whether that's adequate, too short, too long.
Are they gonna hire an architect, a designer, an engineer?
I don't know. The Monett Main Street has not been meeting in quite
We
a few
can't
months.
concur a year, 2 years, or 3 years until we know something.
Yeah, that's what I am in favor of setting a term.
Right.
So
I do want to apply a reasonable test.
Right.
I'm not going
I
to
wanna be
say
reasonable.
11th hour, just pull the rug out. But I also don't. I want to avoid it sitting stagnant for a long period of time with no construction, no movement, and no plan. So yes,
The plan.
definitely see a plan, but
Okay.
the
I
date.
do know. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, just because the date is ultimately our decision.
I do know that one of the individuals involved, who's been one of the key proponents, has indicated that they're ready to move today if we were to give them the deed. that they'd start work today, essentially, on everything. So I believe at least it verbally has indicated the intent, the desire to get started quickly. But whether or not that would actually be able to happen or not, I don't know. So I think the key is going to be just, I guess, for me to know in terms of this land transfer, what you want me to say in terms of a deed restriction. So because I can't have anything really in front of you to approve until I know.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
Something
can't,
to
be,
approve.
can't be open-ended.
No cocktail napkin deal.
Are you
So-
offering to reach out to Monett Main Street to try to get
I can do that
Yeah.
to say, hey,
construction plan?
what? Well, I think we've got a meeting Monday as well, so I don't know if there'll
That's a
be
different
different topic.
But
But hopefully we can be able to maybe come up with a game plan that I can then provide to you guys at that meeting, hopefully.
Okay.
So
All right, so we've got the timeline, that's part of it, and the other part is they have to do something with the memorial, with Mr. Gilroy's home. Okay, I haven't heard any other stipulations than that. And for me, I think 2 years is reasonable.
Depends if Thad's doing it or not. May need 4.
All right. And the Gilroy's memorial needs to, or needs to.
needs to be incorporated in the design. Permanently.
Yeah, is it gonna be inside? Yeah, it has to be outside. Yeah, it's gotta be incorporated into the wall somewhere, but,
Yeah, because this
yeah, I think that's
project
talking.
is just exterior.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the Gilroy's family wanted. Something on an external wall. I think that's fitting.
Not freestanding like it is.
It's a granite monument.
It's
right
a
now.
granite monument sitting in front of that parking lot, right?
Well, down the street, 1 block is the BB Hall,
Right.
Yes, that's
and
right.
it's on the corner, facing Broadway. This would be the 5th Street corner, right? Am I right in saying that? 6th Street.
Sixth
seven.
Street, Sixth Street.
6, you're right.
So again, could it sit on that far end facing Broadway as a
Let's-
matching design? It's just
Yeah.
Just tell them that they got to incorporate it in their design.
Mhm.
I think.
As a permanent structure.
It has to be visible to the public.
Correct. Yeah. Don't want it there for just a year and then decide to.
Stick it back inside
Move
the
it.
corners
Right.
somewhere. Yeah.
anything else?
Any other business?
nothing from previous. Anything you want to talk about? Nothing. Okay.
Any motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mayor Randy Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Darren Indovina,
Aye.
Commissioner King Gaspar.
Aye.